In 2021, I moved to Canada with a PR and a one-way ticket. And well, in 2 months, I packed my bags and came back to India. Here's why. But first, let's rewind a little and let's give you some context. August of 2019, I applied for my PR, and in January 2020, my PR came through. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Shivangi. I'm a designer and a design educator, and I was planning on exploring Canada for my clothing brand in the summers of 2020. But then, we all know what really happened. Fast forward to a year later, life changed 360 degrees for me. I had taken a sabbatical from my brand. It was as it is a nomadic brand I used to travel with across the world, and I'd done 35 plus pop-ups in 3 years of running it. But then suddenly, boom, there weren't any exhibitions happening. But it was good in a way, because for the first time, COVID allowed me to actually slow down and instead focus on other skill sets I had. Finally, I had the time to work on this idea I'd shelved for 4 years. So with your motivation and support on YouTube, I started Designershala, an online design school in the midst of the pandemic, and it was an instant hit. So basically, by the time when I moved to Canada in September 2021, I had been working remote for almost a year, traveling the world and living a really independent life that allowed me the freedom to be wherever, whenever. Alright, now that you're all caught up and have a little bit of context, let me share with you why I came back. I've got 5 reasons, and you may hate me, you may not like me, but these are my 5 reasons. I don't in any way mean to demean the country or the cities that I visited. These are just my personal opinions from my personal lives and what worked for me and what didn't work for me. Alright, now reason number 1 is I was running a remote business. I wasn't looking for a job in Canada, and neither was I looking to restarting my clothing brand at that point. So for me to be living there, I needed a solid growth plan for Designershala, which I didn't see happening. And well, spending in dollars while you're making in rupees isn't a good financial plan, right? Also, did I mention that the rentals are pretty crazy in Toronto thanks to the insane amount of Chinese real estate investments there? Even if I did consider gigs, design consulting or jobs, there's literally zero market for fashion. And that's reason number 2. I was a part of a WhatsApp community of 200 plus Niftians who had relocated to Canada in the last 20 years, and not one of them who I spoke with was working in fashion. Almost every single one of them had pivoted to a completely different field or a field within design but not really fashion. So yes, as a designer, and especially as a fashion designer, you'd most likely have to pivot because there are no big fashion design houses, brands or labels in Canada. I'll do a more detailed video talking about this if you'd like, so let me know in the comments by commenting mangoes. I don't know why I said that. Point number 3, lack of friendships and family. I had no familial ties or friends living in Canada, which meant I was pretty much all alone in a foreign country with little ways of making friends because A, it was COVID, so we were still socially distancing. 2, I wasn't working a job. And 3, neither was I in a course or in a college or like studying something. So to be honest, it got pretty lonely sometimes. I was living in downtown Toronto and Montreal, and both the places would be pretty dead by the time it was 8. It was really depressing sometimes. Coming from Mumbai, I'm pretty used to the hustle bustle of a big city, so that was a major downer. I did end up making a few acquaintances and friends, but it just didn't feel right. Number 4, Toronto wasn't New York. Now while this is an unfair comparison because no two cities are the same, but for some reason, I'd always envisioned Toronto to be very similar to New York. And boy, was I disappointed. Don't get me wrong, the city is wonderful by itself, but it just didn't speak to my heart how New York did. And I felt like I don't need to settle for this if I don't like it enough. Also, I lived in Montreal for a bit, and it was really, really beautiful. But again, it didn't speak to my heart. Probably because I don't speak French. Lame, I know. Now my 5th reason to come back is I've been living independently since 2013, which means it's been over 11 years that I've been taking care of myself. But I've always had maids and cooks to keep my space clean and give me good food. I'm a businesswoman, and I'm grateful that I can afford to hire help when I need it. Living abroad is extremely hard if you've been earning in India. When you move as a student, you don't know any other life, so you're okay adjusting to the country and also more malleable and more flexible. But when you've tasted the luxuries of living in India, boy, is it hard or what? Now, it was honestly a very big leap of faith that I took to just pack my bags and move during the pandemic to Canada for 2 months. And honestly, I'd never have known if I hadn't done it. It was an adventure of a lifetime, living in a different country, traveling alone, and just being with myself. I still have a PR and it's valid until 2026 or 2027, but it doesn't look like I'm going back to settle or to stay. Again, I don't want to demotivate you. Maybe you have great opportunities in your field and a purpose to relocate. Maybe you have your own family living there. Maybe you have your boyfriend or your girlfriend. I don't know. But well, this is my story and my 5 reasons to have come back from Canada. I hope if you're planning on going to Canada as a designer, this puts in some perspective for you. Let me know what you'd like to watch next. I'd be happy to help you. Alright, bye-bye.